Yo, what up? What's happening? Welcome back to another episode of the greatest podcast on the face of the earth. You are at the LeVar Walker Show podcast, and boy, do we have a lot in store for all of y'all, man. Shout out to everybody been rocking with me, man. Everybody that's been rocking with me out in the world, man. Nothing but love. Everybody on Instagram, everybody everywhere, man. I appreciate all y'all. Nothing but love, man. We are in the building. I want to bring up, I don't often do guests, and this is going to be my second guest on the show because I had a panel of comedians. The last show I did, I had a panel of comedians, some of my friends, some of the good brothers I work, some of the funny brothers, man. But who I want y'all to meet today is a Comic View and Def Jam legend. And before there was Cat Williams, there was this man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to put y'all hands together for Jamario. We are bringing in Jamario right now. Y'all don't know nothing about no Jamario. We got Jamario in the building, man. What's happening, good brother? Look, first of
Man,
all, I
what's
want
up,
to,
man?
Jamario, you a legend, and I want to thank you for coming on this show today.
Oh
And
man,
I
it's all good.
appreciate you, man.
It's all good.
And
Thank you for having me.
man, I appreciate it, man. And I just wanted to, pick your brains. You're an OG comedy legend. Now, when did you start comedy, Jamario?
Oh man, I started when I was in ninth grade, man.
Ninth grade.
Back
What
in
year?
82, 83. I was doing talent shows.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
you you started in Atlanta.
Yeah, in Atlanta. I grew up in Bankhead Court, went to the high school called we call it the legendary Harper High.
Okay.
So Bankhead Court and at that time there was with talent shows. I came from talent shows. So
Okay.
high school talent shows was the thing back in them days. Like certain high school had talent show like West Fulton High, which I started, then Columbia High, then my school, then Columbia High School. That's where Chris Tucker was and Silk. They went to. They were doing their talent shows there. So back in them days, talent shows were really big, really big,
Mm-hmm.
huge for us.
Mm-hmm.
So and then I I did that, and then the comedy theater opened up in Atlanta from Los Angeles, which where the late Robin Harris was hosting. So they had one in LA, then they had another one in Atlanta. So I started like from that point in '88 when he moved here in Atlanta.
And the
So
Comedy Act Theater, that was like one of the first black comedy. Was that the first black comedy club?
it was the first black, and then it was other comedy clubs open like All Jokes Aside up in Chicago,
Yes, yes.
and then they had a cotton club up there in New York with
Okay.
the Browns. That's when the Def Jam era kicked off in that area
Mm-hmm.
up there. Los Angeles, let me see, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Washington D.C., um, Detroit,
Mm.
Miami. Marvin Disney had a room called it was called what did Marvin? It was called the Miami Night. He had his comedy room. Then Ricky Smiley had a club in Birmingham called Bugsy.
Mm.
So it just like a domino. One thing was just setting up, just setting up. Everything was just setting up all across the
S-
board.
So what gave you what made you decide to become a comedian?
Be honest with you, man. I was doing the music and and the acting at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my one of my friends, he was already a comedian. His name was L.A. I was always joking, clowning, not knowing that I had the personality or calling for it. But he kept
Mm-hmm.
talking me into doing it. And then I saw Eddie Murphy doing Delirious when it first
Mm-hmm.
came out. Eddie was hot. So at that time, you had Flip Wilson, Bill Cosby, and Richard Pryor. They were always good. When Eddie came on the scene, that was a whole different level
That
right
just
there. Like
really that when Eddie
it
hit, it
just
was just inspired. I
is.
guess so many brothers. He was the inspiration.
Yeah, he was what he did to this day. He knocked down doors.
Hmm.
Richard Pryor and Red Fox, all them, they was in the doors, but they couldn't knock down the doors
Hmm.
because, from my understanding, Richard plan was to bring some of the black communities on his show at the time. They told us, "Nah, you lucky, we giving you a show."
Mm.
So, so Richard showed us how to play the game, get away from that ghetto mindset, and really play the Hollywood game, and how to what the Wayne's doing right now. Playing
Hmm.
that like what you doing right now. We can go in the community and kick it, but when we trying to go to the next level, try to go there, we have to play their game.
Right.
So
Right. Wow.
so
Wow.
so that kind of touched me, and I said, well, let me give it a shot. So,
Mm.
and I said, I can't lose, and when the comedy theater came, and the first time, because I started trying to do the mainstream, going to the punchline and the funny bone, but they wasn't feeling me like that. But when the comedy theater came into Atlanta, the first black comedy club here in the South, that was huge, man. That was
So
so
you
huge
you
at
don't
the
you
time.
don't think the mainstream had got your humor like they weren't, you know what I mean?
Right,
Because I'm
right.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing at this time this was during the we want to say the 80s. You talking about the
80s,
yeah,
80s.
so during the 80s I'm trying to think who was hot. What other black comedians was it
Oh man, that
Sinbad? You had
Sinbad was
Sinbad.
high. Sinbad, Robert Townsend,
Mhm.
Arsenio Hall. So what them guys did was classy stuff. They and Keenan them, and you gotta understand, Eddie and Keenan them started in New York, where everything you had no choice but to go where everything was happening. They didn't stay
Mm.
in one spot. They went, they had. You've been to New York. When you go to New York, you do the
Yeah.
rooms. You
Yeah.
learn how to do the rooms. You're not doing the club. You learn how to do rooms in different cultures.
Well, my
And
New
did
York my New York experience is a little bit different because I had going to New York, man, I got like a huge vouch from Amy Schumer, which got me directly into the comedy cellar. So
right.
when I
And
go, I mean,
also, yeah.
when I
Bouncer, go
go,
ahead. Keep going.
yeah, I was just saying when I go, I work out at the cellar, and then sometimes I might do a couple rooms in Harlem or whatever, and just
Yeah,
ride the wave, Brooklyn or whatever. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, and the Peppermint Lounge up there. That's another thing. The Peppermint Lounge was kicking strong up there in New Jersey,
Hmm.
with Bob Sumner and Tina and Bill Bellamy. I think Bill was hosting the Peppermint Lounge, but that was another big factor there. That's when the Def Jam and then the Browns brother had the Cotton Club, the
Hmm.
Harlem, something like. So you had that main factor up there,
Hmm.
and so Russell Simmons was always up there in that club, seeing what was going on, and he saw that the comics, there was so many comedians. He said they need an outlet, and he already had a development deal with HBO, so he knew what he was going to do. So he took that development deal and created Def Comedy. It's more stories to this, but that's how Def Comedy Jam got
And
taken
and
off.
what year did you do Def Comedy Jam?
Oh man, I did Def Jam later after Martin.
Oh, Martin. What
Yeah.
Martin didn't host your episode?
No, no, no. Martin left because Martin. That's another thing about the Def Jam, because we had to learn the audition was so serious. It's like playing for the Yankees, man. You trying to get in the
Yeah.
NBA. You trying to get to the door. So you had like 500 some comedians trying to get on Def Jam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same with Comedy View, man. That was serious, man. So I learned that It wasn't about being funny. It was about execution and bringing that best heat, best game. Cause you up against some serious comics
Mm-hmm.
that was bringing it, man. So if you want to show with Burning Man, you got like bring your heat.
Mm.
You got to
So
come with you
so
got
when you
some.
auditioned, was Bernie Mac auditioning at the same time you auditioned? Oh, he was. Oh no, he had already done it because it was after Martin.
No, we all auditioned at the same time. It
Oh
was just that
wow.
everybody was auditioning. Everybody. It was just that that they was picking the best of the best of the best. And Bob Summer saw me. He said, "Well, I got it, but I wasn't ready." And
Okay.
when I learned later, it was that I was still doing elementary comedy. It's a big difference between elementary comedy and comedy. So you won't
Mm.
know that till you go to New York and LA and understand the mindset
Yeah.
of that area. So when I
Yeah.
saw that that these guys up there wasn't thinking about television. They was really about doing a stand up. They were doing stories, man. They was doing like a whole different level of comedy you never seen before. So when I saw that, I said, "Oh man, I got to step it up."
Oh wow.
So you can't come in here and playing. So um, I learned how to get better with writing. And I remember this white comic. He was a writer for David Letterman at the time. I can't think of his name. And he said to me, he said, "Hey, Mario, you funny, but you doing too much urban comedy."
Mm-hmm.
So I like I had to figure that out, man, how to do comedy, not try to be urban, but still be urban in a way we can come
Yeah,
across it.
that's like an interesting take because I started like literally in the old uptown and you get to killing in there and you know you think the world is just that big and then you get
Right.
outside of that environment and it's
Hmm.
like nah bro, this is really because you could get locked into like if you do a comedy club after you do it a bunch of times you understand like you know what's gonna hit. You could do certain references to the area, certain
Yeah.
narrow references and really quick
Hmm.
jokes in black comedy. And when I was coming up, they were booing so hard. We only had
Yeah.
a few seconds to get them. You know what I mean? So we were
Yeah.
coming up under fear more than love. Like I
Oh yeah,
think
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like a big extent of my generation came up in comedy like abused pit bulls, and
Hmm.
we going so fast in the black club. It's a certain case. Yeah, what's going on here? And you just hitting them, and not letting the
Hmm.
jokes breathe. You're stepping
Yeah.
on your laughs because you don't want to
Yeah.
get booed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah. Yeah.
learn that thing of timing and learn that
Yeah.
silence is your greatest ally in comedy is silence. And that's just from the stand up perspective. So
Yeah. And then that while you saying that, see, when we came in, it was not a whole lot of booing. It was like fun, fresh.
that's crazy.
You gotta figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn. You have to be your own what
So
student teacher.
so
That whole
where did the booing culture come from? Because when I started
the
here,
booty
they were booing back like
that
it was
came
horrific.
from up there in New York, uh, Apollo time.
Hmm.
So you watching Apollo theater and people booing you if you ain't got it right, they booing. So people pick off what they see and say, hey, he ain't funny. Boo.
Mm-hmm.
So you but that's good because you have to learn. You
You had
can't
to
be
learn.
comfortable.
Oh boy, well you learned all boy, you fell into an inferno when you got it
Yeah,
wrong. You knew immediately.
yeah.
Versus and in what you saying that how do you feel about comedy today with the new comics, the today's stand up? What do you think?
they don't have the discipline that you and I have.
Mm. But
They
do but
don't like.
but I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a lot of the newer guys. Do they really need it? I mean, it just seems like you get
It,
attention online, you do your skits, you
yeah,
sell tickets because the
yeah,
bottom line basis of all comedians is you want to get to a place where you can sell out, where you're making
hmm,
money and you have a
yeah,
business, you know.
yeah, yeah. I do agree with you a percentage of that, but when we
Mm-hmm.
started out and all across the board, we had to learn how to do 2 minutes, 3 minutes at that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't do we didn't do like a comic get up there, have 30 minutes and only have 2 minutes worth of material. We had to learn from you got 2 minutes, and that was it. So it went from 2 minutes, 3 minutes to 5 minutes, 7 minutes, then 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15, 20, 25, 30, 45 an hour. But
And look,
not,
and look, I want to tell the audience, y'all got to understand what Jamario is saying, going from the 2 to the 5 to the 10. These sets, by the time you get to 30, because you're building, it's like building Legos. That
yeah,
set is so solid by the time you get to 30 and 40 minutes to you're getting laughs. These guys were getting laughs every 40, every 15 to 40 seconds where they're killing you, where you're
yeah,
crying. That's the
yeah,
thing. That's skill, that's
yeah,
curation. But now I just feel like we're all like the comedy game to me right now. It just seems like everybody's just throwing shit at the wall, and it's just
hmm,
this thing of who's the most popular or something. And then it
yeah.
seems to me that it has nothing to do with being actually funny. Like,
No, no,
and then I guess
no,
the business is unjust anyway. It's not even. I was having a conversation at the barbershop with somebody, and I
yeah.
was just saying to me, and this is just my view, being a comedian, funny only makes up this much of the journey, right? Would you agree with that?
I do agree with you on that. The rest is life
Yeah.
from that point on. Like when I see your set, you know, I love your set. I like your creativity. I like how you take your time to write something
Hmm.
and not rush it. You take your time. You know it's gonna be funny. You already got the
It took me a
ingredients.
long time to get there though, man. Because I used to
Yeah,
be
but
scared. I did it out of fear. I'm like, I was, yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm just,
yeah.
dude.
But
Maybe 5 years ago, I learned silence, control. You know, all that. I'm just
yeah,
not getting into that. You know.
yeah. And that's fine.
Hmm.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that because I shared with someone a long time ago. I said it takes about 10 years, probably
Hmm.
15, to get it where uh it seems like it look like 50, it look like 5 years, but it take about 15 years to get it nice and appreciate it. Then you got another 5 years to really master it.
Yeah, I think it take 10 to 15 just to get funny or something. Then you got to find your voice in the other five. Like you finding your voice,
Yes.
and then now, like I'm just, you know, as I do a lot of social media, as I'm doing these podcasts, I'm doing this to find my tribe in the world and really to find my fan base. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
you have your fan base. That's the thing. Your fan base is there. It's your season that matters. That's why Kevin
Mm,
Hart. That's why Cat Williams did with. That's why Kevin Hart is where he at. That's why Bernie Man, Cedric, and Steve and DL. They season was
when
at the
I
right time.
when I look at your set like back in the day and stuff, and you being on Comic View and Def Jam, I could see it looks that like Cat was influenced by you some kind of way. Like I could see like Cat look up? Did you mentor him or anything? Or
You know what happened? This is the funny thing about Cat. I worked with Cat in a way that came across. Me and Cat never had a conversation about it, not one time, but people always said that our style was similar.
yeah, because
And
it's like high energy. Like y'all were
yeah,
high
very
energy. A
yes.
lot of facial expressions,
Yeah.
fast. You know what I mean? Because you used to go fast. Y'all don't know nothing about the Jamario. Da da,
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
pop. Like you know what I mean? Like you was killing their ass, like killing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
for you, I want to ask you this question, like, because I remember Missy Elliott had
Oh yeah,
had
yeah.
mentioned this man. Listen, y'all, Missy Elliott at the height of her career had
Kevin McGould.
mentioned Missy Elliott and Magoo had put "You Don't Know About Jamario" in the song. Do y'all not know
Yeah.
how big that is or was like back in the day? Like that was just amazing. So
And
what year in your career do you think like you hit a pinnacle or you popped?
what happened? I'm gonna tell you about that story. What happened was how that came about. We was at the Comedy Theater. Sean Walker, who was the, we had people work at Comedy
Mm-hmm.
Theater at the time. Sean Walker, who was in the record music business, and he was also tag team road manager. And Pastor Fred McCullough, who's the pastor now, at the time he wasn't a pastor, but them two was always clowning everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They was like the hecklers. When you see on the Muppets, them two guys always heckling people. They was them. So what happened was that evening, we was outside the club before the show got started. Bruce Bruce, Sherman Golden Chocolate, and they were just clowning us all night long, just clowning. And a security guy named Eddie. So I had this outfit on with silk, it was a suit. It was sharp too. It was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they were clowning my suit. They were just cutting up on me. You couldn't even do nothing because it was just there's nothing you could do. They were just cutting up on me. And Eddie said to me, he said, Jamario, you gonna let them talk about you? The same thing about them. They don't know about no damn Jamario. At that moment, Bruce said, that's hot. We're gonna take it to the stage right now, right now, right now. He got the show
Damn.
started. He said, we're gonna get the show started. Bam! Got the show started. Yeah, keep that fire. Boom. And he said, y'all don't know about no damn Jamario. The house just came down.
Damn.
And
Was that at the
it was,
559?
no, this was like the comedy theater.
Wow.
At that time, Doodoo Brown, to this day, Doodoo Brown was the one who said you need to keep that in your act.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I talk to Doodoo, he said you need to keep that in your act. That number about no dance in marriage. That's hot. That's hot. I didn't see it. I didn't get it because everything we did, you created. You just threw stuff on the stage. And so
Yeah.
one day, me Doodoo had. This is the time when promoters book you for a show in their city, and they will come to Atlanta, pick you up, take you to the city, and bring you back. That was
Mm.
that's what they did before we did the flying and all that. So me and Dudu had a show in Mobile, Alabama. The promoter from there came to pick us up and took us back to Mobile. Going, coming back. That's all Dudu talked about is that hook.
Mm.
All day, every day. That's all he talked about. He strategized it. He said, this gonna happen, this, they're gonna do this, and do it. He just kept saying it over to me, just kept telling me what it was gonna do, how it was gonna do, it was
Mm-hmm.
gonna boom, boom, boom. It's gonna be fire. In the morning he was talking about it. I mean, he did not stop talking about it. So I think I did comedy that first season. Bob was getting ready to do the second season. This is when Cedric was the host at the time, became the host. That was a great setup because Cedric took Comedy to another level when he became the host. So it was so happened when I did that show, it just automatically came out. Y'all don't know about no damn Mario. I didn't even think about it. I didn't know it was going. Some people get cocky with certain things and think it's the it. I wasn't cocky with it. I just did it, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know it was gonna take off like that, man. Before I knew it, it got hot. And So the record came. It was this guy named Robert. He was like that was just in time when Tower Records and Turtle Records was going on. You buy the CDs and everything at the time. So Robert was like a bodyguard security for Turtle Records. And he see me, he said, hey man, I need to holler at you. I said, what's up, man? Hey, you know Timberland and Magoo? I said, the producer? The music producer? Yeah. He said, I know who Timberland is, but I don't know Magoo. He said, well, man, they got Missy them got your hook in that record up Jump the Boogie remix. I said, what? I said,
Wow,
yeah, man. He said, hey man, it's hot. It's
that's
it's
crazy.
it's it's hot. And this is the time when the record company had changed the policy, not putting singles out no more. And the radio station had changed went from like putting tapes to digital. So once you go digital, they couldn't go and find a song. So I talked to Ryan Karen. Ryan said he heard it. And he had to talk to me. He said, hey man, that record hot, man. Red Party was on B103 at the time. And he was telling me, man, that record hot, man. So I could never get to hear the song. I didn't hear the song until I went to New Mexico, man. I went to New
Damn.
Mexico, and the first time I heard it, and in the how I ended up going to New Mexico, it was like I had a heavy schedule. And I
Hmm.
was performing that Friday. I was going from that Thursday to the next following Sunday. So I said, I'm gonna fly in the day before New Mexico. I already sold out. So I'm gonna come in. I ain't never been there. Let's see what's going on. And the promoter said, hey man, it's this club, man, it's jumping, man. And it be packed. We can go check it out. Now everybody knew I was coming Friday, but they didn't see me coming Thursday. So I come into the club and the DJ can see people coming through the door. So he saw me at the time when I had that black hat, the glasses and everything. He saw me from the door. He stopped. He said, oh hell, guess who don't step up in this ML? We got BT. We got BT's calling Legend Jamario is Jamario band. And he had the record. And
Oh
he went in
my
the middle of them
God.
all. He said, y'all
Oh,
don't know nothing about no Jamario. To this day, I don't even know how he got the record.
I gotta hit you with the thing, man. You see that? But that is
Yeah.
a legendary story. Now, let me ask you this. Did your bookings go through the roof as this song was tearing
Oh
the
my God.
charts?
Listen. To this day, I never met Timberland, Missy, or Magoo to
Wow.
this day. And I would never know how that song, how it got hacked. I know to this day, I never knew. When my phone, now I was already working, I was already doing shows. I was doing some stuff with Sony Music, Sony at the time, because Al Manson, Michael Dobson, them guys was airing off of Sony. So they were bringing me and do some voiceovers. I was doing some voiceovers. So I was doing all right. But when my phone was ringing, like it was ringing like, hey, we want to book you. We heard your name in this record. They already knew about y'all, no matter you're married. It's just like I can't even put it. I'm in a record. They took me to a whole nother market, and then you got me on comedy with it. So I had a win-win situation, and I
Mm.
couldn't. It was
I mean,
crazy, man.
the money must have just started raining on your head. What's
It,
the most tickets you sold during this time? Like, did you sell a 5,000 seater, 1,500?
Man, I was in the seats. I was in the seats, man. I was in the seats, man.
Mm, mm,
You gotta understand at the time, Cedric was so hot. They started putting me and Cedric together, and me and Cedric became real cool. So we was always doing shows together. It was like that. And then I ended up doing some of my shows. So it was like I was getting in the 1,500 seats, 2,500 seats. I was,
that's
I was,
crazy, man. You know, because that's the
it was,
that's the hill I'm battling now, just trying to figure out, man, how to increase ticket sales, sell tickets. That's what I was saying, finding my tribe. Now, before we go deeper, we gotta plug this show. I want to tell these people, man, I'm doing a pop up. Let me show you guys where I'll be at. Me and Jamario will be here. There we go. April
Tomorrow night.
24th, tomorrow night, guys. I'm pulling up the perfect note. I'm gonna be headlining along with the good brother Howie Bell. I don't know
Oh
how the
my
hell I'm
God.
about to follow no Howie Bell.
Hey,
Jamario's
listen.
hosting, Cliff P, DJ
Yeah,
Enel.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to have my shit together.
yeah. It's a good
I got
spot. It's a good spot.
I got
It's a
some
good spot.
work ahead of me. So tomorrow night, perfect note, pull up 8 p.m. Um and it's going down, man. It is definitely
Yeah.
going down.
Last month we had Vanessa Fraction and Small Fire. Oh my goodness. That was that was
Ooh,
crazy.
I could not imagine. And
And I
listen,
said we
y'all,
gotta
y'all gotta. This is what I want to tell everybody that follows me, and please go follow Jamario as well. And guys, when y'all go to these shows, please go to YouTube. Whatever comedian you're seeing, if you're going to a stand up show, look up their stand up on YouTube. You can see what you're getting. You can see where the money goes, and you see what's happening. I mean, if you look on this calendar right here, these are some real heavyweights that'll be performing, and it's really a lot of bang for your buck. I'm just going to be honest, and these guys can go toe to toe with. I mean, my gosh, like these are
and then after
monsters.
y'all now, after y'all, we got Palmer Williams and Tony Schofield coming after y'all
Oh man, that's
in
a
May.
legend. Tony Schofield, come on, man. We listen.
Yeah.
We could listen. Y'all pull up tomorrow. Now, Jamario, I'm gonna hold you hostage because I want you to sit here. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions because I do this podcast and I talk shit about certain topics and things of that nature. And the
Hmm.
first topic that I want to talk about is this Shannon Sharp shit. Uh, as you guys know, Shannon Sharp is possibly looking at blowing $100 million over a very simple, basic young white woman that's 20 years of age. The young lady looks like a unbreaded chicken nugget, and this is not a piece of ass that I believe is worth $100 million. So,
Nah, nah.
Jamario, what do you think about what's going on with Shannon?
You know, that's one of our downfall right there. When we get
Is it
to
pussy, specifically white women pussy, or just pussy in general?
in general,
Pussy in
period.
general. So we're not gonna be
Be-
racist here. It's just
No,
pussy
no,
in
no. It
general.
just it's just like when you're on that level, everybody gonna come at you.
Hmm.
Everybody's coming at you, all different flavor. So your mindset said, okay, I know what black is about. I know what Latino's about. Well, let me see what a white is about.
But
So
see,
you got
this is my thing. And listen, I stand for Shannon. I don't believe any of these allegations. I'm with Shannon. I'm
right.
rooting
I
for her.
love Shannon.
Yeah, I love him too. I just think it's more just brothers. You just have to have more discernment and dick discipline. Let's look to your neighbor and say dick discipline. Dick discipline is very, very important. And if you need it that bad, you can always pull out your phone, go to Pornhub, and jack off, and just shoot you one out. Take a deep
Yeah,
breath and get back to your work. Get back to the mission, because
yeah,
we're talking about Shannon possibly losing $100 million empire over just a very horrible piece of pussy, and I'm just devastated by it.
yeah,
It's really frightening, because then, of course, Shannon is this big black nigga, and there are people behind the scenes at Disney. They fucking hate Shannon. The white boys been waiting. They hate this motherfucker, and then you go get one of they lily white young white women. And when I looked at the
yeah,
girl, it brought me back to slavery. It brought me back to something where I look at Shannon as this big black buck on the field hauling all this cotton and shit, and he looks to the house and he sees this young, tender white woman, And he's like, I want that. I need that right there. I got to have that right there. And the rest of the slaves like, nigga, is you crazy? Don't look at her. No, no, I got to have it. And this is this is where we are. Because if he goes in
Yeah.
the courtroom, Jamario, we looking at him, this is a big, solid man. This man is six
Right.
three, 250, cut from stone, nothing but muscle. And then you have this little, frail 20-year-old white woman.
Yeah.
What? What are we talking? This is dangerous. It,
Yeah.
it looks scary just looking at it. This bitch look like who told on Emmett Till. Okay, this bitch look like she was the bitch that just fucked up a lot of, got the bombs thrown in Greenwood
Yeah.
in Tulsa. Like that's what she looks
Mm.
like. And I'm like, God, I don't know why he wasn't frightened. Oh, big old
Yeah.
black nigga with no little ass white woman, and you talking about putting a dog collar on her and choking her. What? What? Hey man,
Yeah. That's why we got to be careful. Like, I'm so happy that I'm married, man. I'm so happy
me too, bro. Shout out to marriage.
because yeah, that that right there is the most key ingredient when you have the right woman in your life and making sure you. It is not easy, but you got that one.
How long have you been married, Jamario?
We've been married for 5 years. According, my wife just told me last night we've been together about 12 years.
Is this your
12.
first wife? Is this your first wife?
This is my first wife.
Oh, you never been.
We
Okay, good, good.
So we've been together for a minute. So I don't, now I want to say this to make sense. Now, when I met my wife the first time, I had money and I met her back in the 90s. And the second time I met her again years later, I was broke. So when I married my wife, I was broke. It's I don't know if you know what I'm saying, but it's a difference.
But yeah, sometimes I think when you got a lot of money, you get the woman more so you want, but then you were blessed because you probably got the woman you want and the woman that you need. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So
I
you you
always
you
have
you
to
you hit it
speak.
right on the nail.
Yeah, I
You
always
hit it
have
right
to
on.
speak to that because you know what I'm saying. I've been with my wife. Shit, man, we've been dating since. I met my wife like in college, and we dated for about 10, 8 years, 10 years. Then we got married. So we've been married since 2000 and 2009, and we got one child. But it's a definite blessing because as I'm living my dream, and she's always supported me and pushed me to live my dream. Uh, we can share in the success together if the success
And,
comes. You know what I mean? Like we can share that, and I think a lot of times.
and
Hmm.
I ain't even cut you. I want to add something what you just said right there. Your wife got the chance to see you from scratch when you became
My wife,
pharmaceutical.
my wife watched me get booed at the university.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but see, she saw your success. You got two careers, man. You went and
Yeah, yes,
became a successful of
pharmacist.
pharmaceutical,
Yeah,
and then you became a comedian. Now you're doing movies, you writing. She got the chance to see all that from scratch, man. So a lot of people isn't don't know. She know your story and your glory. That's just how I go.
yeah, yeah. And she is the woman that I want and need. So that is
Yeah,
that's real, man. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna send my prayers up to the good brother Shannon. I don't want him to lose anything. I do believe
yeah,
this is an extortion attempt. I do believe it's somewhat a shakedown. And to the
yeah.
fact that it's like if you are a victim of assault, I would want that person to go to jail and pay, you know what I mean, just pay restitution with time. But this is
Right.
a civil case, which is a non-criminal case that's being pursued against him. So it's like, what's going on? And then also, they were into BDSM, which is sexual masochism, and this is how they
See,
play.
that's
Like
I don't know nothing about none of that stuff. What you
yeah,
talking about right now?
that sexual masochism is like pain and pleasure and shit. It's like when a woman wants you to choke her or something or put a, like within the text it said she wanted him to put a dog collar on her and walk her around and put her feet in boiling hot water and then peel potatoes and go outside and then hit her with the dookie
Okay.
gun. It's just some freak kink shit. And he had a kink, and it's like, damn, dude, I want to see him win, though, man. It's wild. So
Yeah.
I don't know where this goes, but
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
be
really
impressed.
pulling from him. But brothers,
Yeah, I'm gonna
be
be impressed.
careful out there, cause pussy will destroy your shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Put
If he had that
pussy,
one, if he had that one woman, he would never had that happen.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like pussy will tear some shit down. I mean, we know what drugs do, but man, if he was
Mm,
just on drugs, like man, I got a problem, But with pussy, people are unforgiving. They like, fuck this guy, you know what I mean? And those all those jealous white men see that big black muscular nigga. They want blood, Jamario. That's what they want.
mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I'm gonna move right along. Speaking of that, I'm moving down the list. Kanye Jamario, Kanye West recently, he came out and said he sucked his cousin's dick uh, from the time he was 8. I don't. They watched some freaky magazines, Jamario, and somehow they wanted to act out. We've all had cousins like I used when wrestling was popular, your cousin be like, "Hey, let me put you in that full Nelson," and you do the
Yeah.
wrestling move with your cousin. But my particular case, I never watched a porn with my cousin and say, "Hey, man, put your dick in my mouth." Like it never occurred to me. But this obviously happened to Kanye, and I really don't know what to say. I know Thanksgiving
Yeah, man.
dinners must have been very awkward when his cousin walked in the house.
Yeah, man. I don't know what to say about that one, but
Yeah,
I gotta be in prayer. There's so much going on in the world, man. And so much just been coming out. Like, man, what the world
I
coming
mean
out?
it's going crazy, man. I think we living in a simulation, Jamirio. I think
Yeah,
we're
yeah. Yeah.
living in some type of game or some shit, and people. There's some aliens with controllers who are just controlling us all, and this is the shit
Hmm.
that's happening because this is just Kanye's a billionaire. He's also a Klansman. He's a Nazi. He hates everybody. It's just fucking. I really don't know what to say. Now I buy a lot of sneakers as you can see at the back, so I'm a Kanye fan actually. I buy the sneakers. I like the music, and I'm from Chicago. And
Yeah, Shot Town.
if it took Kanye sucking his cousin's dick to bring the sneakers and the clothes, hey, so be it. I don't know what else to say.
I don't know what to say on that one. You know, man, like I said, man, it's
It's
a lot.
just
It's a
it's
lot.
a lot, man. I don't know how to. I mean, Kanye. If Kanye mama was alive, she would whoop his ass. He just need a
Yeah,
whooping or something. It's like what the fuck, man. Like
yeah,
stop it with this shit. Uh,
yeah,
Another thing too. Papa's house just got canceled. Papa's house with
yeah.
Damon Wayans Jr. I
That's a good
enjoyed this.
show.
It was a good show, but I
Yeah,
want to speak to you on this, Jamario. We in different times.
yeah.
People are
But see,
not.
here,
Uh huh.
go ahead, finish.
I just want to say I don't think people are watching television and movies anymore. I
No,
think
they walking stream.
yeah, but I
It's
think not
streaming.
just streaming, but I think people's attention spans are gone. I think like everybody on the phone, I said this, we got two eyeballs. So each of us has
Hmm.
two eyeballs. When these eyes open up, there are a million apps in the phone competing for those two eyeballs before you even
Hmm.
get to the damn TV. And when you get to
Yeah,
the TV, it's a million apps on the TV competing for your two eyeballs. So
yeah.
I don't know, like we're just in this weird space of what I don't know. I really don't know. It's just everybody throwing shit at
Yeah.
the wall. It's weird.
Well, here's the good thing with some guys, you know, because CBS is on a Viacom along with BET, so BET can pick them up and bring them over to BET. They
That'll be
still be in
great.
the winning. They'll still be in the winning situation. They ain't losing. They really winning, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
because to be on CBS like that, that's huge. And then even though you did it one season, someone can come right behind, guide you, and bring you over. It
Right.
might take a minute, but they still
But
got an
when
opportunity to
when you
bring it
when
over.
you say that's huge, and I believe it is huge too. But are you more speaking from times of past when having a sitcom was a really big deal? Do you
Yeah.
believe having a sitcom in 2025 is a big deal?
Okay. I won't say yes and no. During the 90s, it was huge
Of
for
course.
us to have. Very huge. Now we got so many resources. We got all kind of networks right now. We can play ball with any team, you know. With,
Jamario, we can start a network right now with an app,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
fucking crazy. You know what I mean? So
That's simple. Because we
it's
got the
just
resources.
yeah, yeah, and TV and it's everywhere. We could start a Tubi show as soon as we get off here. We could add that shit up and
Yeah,
running. We could
yeah.
shoot it
So
fast.
yeah. And the Wayans family, they you understand, they've been in the game for some years, so they know how to play the game. That's not their first rodeo. So they will look at my wife and kids, and they was on ABC for many years,
Hmm.
and now it's syndicated and everywhere. Now they're gonna do the same thing. So someone eventually gonna bring them over.
Yeah, I hope so, but I just don't know. Like, so I did 2 seasons of a Hulu show with Amy Schumer, and all my ticket sales came from social media. And it's not that the show was a bad show. It's still streaming Life and Beth on Hulu. Y'all go check it out. But I just think people's attention, you have to figure out a way to get in front of eyeballs. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's
You
something
see what I'm
catchy,
saying?
something catchy. You know, something that everybody is gonna get to it. They can't wait
Mm-hmm.
to see it. What's the show everybody was like Power
Mm-hmm.
and BMF? Them shows like that, the stars just put them on. Everybody got to watch it, got to
Oh,
see it.
oh,
You know,
let me pull this back up again because I want to add this, guys. Tomorrow, April 24th, I'm pulling up at Perfect Note in Atlanta. It'll be me, Jamario, Howie Bell, Cliff P, and DJ Enel. So y'all come out
yeah.
to that, man. Pull up. We gonna get it in over there. So I want y'all to make sure perfect note, jazz
Yeah,
time,
grown and sexy audience.
grown and
Grown and sexy.
sexy. So we gonna
Yeah, you gonna love it. You gonna love it. You gonna love it. It's grown and
and
sexy, good clean environment.
and Jamario had called me about this show. He reached out like, cool, anything for the legend, the OG. I was like, just say less. So pulling up, we on the way. Um,
I'm telling you, you gonna love it, LeVar. You gonna love it. I'm telling you.
I can't wait, brother. I definitely cannot wait. That's tomorrow, guys. What else we got here? We talked about Papa's house. How do you feel about the tariffs that Trump is imposing?
You know, I'm not surprised by what he's doing, and this is the time right now for our community to come together to do our own because we got so much resources. We're not losing. We're not hurting. We're not in the government's circle. That's their thing. We just see what's going on. We got nothing to do with that because our life got to go on. For us, we just got to come together. We got to do like they did back in the '60s
Oh,
when
hold
they
on,
did.
Jamario. We got a tip. We just got a tip to come in. Yo, shout out to Carrie Fraser. Yo, Carrie Fraser, shout out to you, brother, with the $10 tip. Greatly appreciated, brother. No doubt. All right, let me take that off. All right. So you say we got to do what we got to do as a community. Do you think these tariffs will impact us as far as prices for food, gas? Do you think we gonna get kicked in our ass, Jamario?
Not necessarily because you got to understand where we come from. We come back from the '60s when we were catching when our family was grandparents was catching hell, and they came to they grew their own garden and their own food. They figured out how to make it, and they did things together. It's no different what we can do. We can do the same thing they did back then, just
Mhm.
perfect it better
That's
and do
real.
it better and be appreciated that
What about making our
look,
Nikes? Are we gonna make our Nikes ourselves, Jamario? Our shirts,
we can do
our
whatever we want to. We got the
tables.
reason.
That's
Yeah.
real. That's
We can
real.
do whatever we want to do. But
Can
you
we
gotta
go
look at
back
it,
out
Lamar.
there and pick the cotton and then
No,
process
we ain't
all
doing no,
cotton?
we ain't doing no picking.
We're
We
not
ain't picking
doing
no
it.
cotton. No, we ain't picking no cotton now. We
I'm
we
just
got a
joking.
machine to do that. We ain't
That's
doing
real
that.
shit. That's
But we got
real.
the resources in so many different categories, from finance to technology to media to politics to
Hmm.
teaching, everything, man.
That's
So
real.
we're not hurting. We just got to do it, man.
That's
We can
real.
cry about it all we want to, but we have it. And
I
and,
love
and
it.
I don't hate Trump. That's his thing. And like I said, I told people all the time, let him do this for little 4 years. You do your 4 years.
It's going to be terrific. Let me tell you, Jamario, this is going to be one of the greatest times. These tariffs, I'm going to bring jobs back. I'm going to have you back in the factory, Jamario. I'm going to have you making Nikes. That's right. You're going to be making Nikes. We're going to be making everything right here in America. It's going to be great. Terrific.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. That's
Now,
funny.
now, Jamario, you worked with Bernie Mac, right? Did y'all
I
perform
mean,
together?
I did. He had a room up in Chicago. I was so at the time, man. You gotta understand at the time. For me, I met Lawana Page, who would play Esther on Sanford
Hmm.
and Son.
Did she give you some game?
Man, did she give me the best? Oh man,
What
to
kind of
this
game she
day.
gave you, fool? No,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but here's the thing: what I learned from her. She I met her when she came into Atlanta at the Continental Theater, and I don't know you remember the restaurant called Beautiful up on Cascade. Everybody
yes,
go eat
yes.
there.
Is that still open?
Yeah, it's still open.
Yeah, I used to go to Beautiful all the time.
Yeah, so we went over there, and man, you talking about wisdom and just getting that knowledge.
Yeah.
She shared so much. I think for just sharing that time with me, because I was coming into the game, coming in the
Mm-hmm.
comedy world, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know nothing about the comedy and nothing like that. But to have that conversation about history, what she went through, I asked her how she got into comedy. She was a dancer. She was forced to do comedy. She was forced to do comedy. And
Mm-hmm.
during them times, Red Fox, they had to look out for each other because
Mm-hmm.
when they was doing these clubs, they wasn't getting their money.
And Aunt Esther
They would
was a
do these clubs.
stripper. She was a stripper, right?
She was a dancer. She ain't said, I don't know if she was a stripper or whatever, but she was a
Well, I mean,
dancer.
that was. I mean, when you say she was a dancer, like she just danced, or was that
She was
like?
dancing. I don't know what part of
Let
the
me see.
dancing she was doing, but she
I
was forced to do comedy.
I want to see that. If Aunt Esther, we might be able to find out because I can Google that. That's a Google. That's a definitely Google. Let me see.
Anything you can find on Google.
Let's see. Lawanda Page. Let me ask Google. Was Lawanda Page a stripper? Yeah, she was a stripper. And I have a
Wow.
picture here. Yeah, she was. She was. Let me pull that up. Let's share that screen, guys. Let's share the screen. This is her. Yep, that's her.
Wow.
She used to strip with a snake. See. Let me tell you something, you young strippers. Y'all could take a page. Y'all could take a page out of the book of Lawanda Page. You see, she stripped with animals. And see, y'all just want to walk up there and be lazy. So look at that.
Yeah.
It wasn't she. Isn't she beautiful? Look at her.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
visit
Great
this?
person.
That was in the 40s. That was in the
Yeah.
1940s. Look at that. Look
Yeah.
at LaWanda Page. Just beautiful.
Great
Wow.
person, man. Great
Yeah,
person.
she ain't like a very sweet lady. Just look at that. Look at that. Come on now. Come on now. I don't know if my face. Yeah, let me see. That's a big picture too. Oh, woo! Well, LaWanda Page was a smoke show.
Yeah, she was.
Look at her. And see, that's all natural. See, you couldn't get all. You see, that's a natural woman. They don't make them like that no more, Jamario.
Yeah. I can
Jamario,
see that picture before.
you like her. Jamario, you Jamario, the way you getting quiet and everything, man. What the hell going on,
Nah,
man?
man, ain't she? That's amazing.
She was bad. She was bad.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to the great LaWanda Page. So, what game did she give you? What did she tell you that we could share?
Well, I asked her how she got into the comedy. She said she was forced to do comedy. She was a dancer. She went Pacific. Like you see, I didn't know all that. And she said at the time, they would go on road and do these shows, and they wouldn't get any money, so they had to suffer some. They had to suffer. And Red Fox was so popular, he came with the idea of recording a record. So he recorded each record, and he would share the money with them,
Oh, that's
and they
sweet.
stuck together. They stuck together, and then when he got the NBC deal, she said that they said the NBC said we want to give you a sitcom, for you. And he said, well, they have to come with me. They said, no, we're not interested. We don't want them. We want you. He said, if they don't come, I'm not doing it. So they gave him the deal, and then she was saying that they didn't want her on the show because she didn't have that look. She was not light skinned type at the time.
Oh, wow.
So
That's so sad.
Red Fox had to go at the bat for her. And what he told them that look, they think we just these the niggas. They think we gonna come out and be garbage and ignorant. We gonna go in there with class. We're gonna be respectful, and we gonna take this show and make it well known. And
Check
today,
this out. We got somebody, the good brother that tipped us earlier. Kerry Frazier said he's from Detroit and his godmother, the late Aretha Barnes, did a series of showcase shows with Red Fox in the late '60s. The show will feature Red as a comedian, her as a vocalist and dancer. It was
wow,
more like Selma Hayek and Dust Till Dawn than Magic City, as she would share. And they did 3 shows Thursday, 4 Friday, 5 Saturday, and 3 Sunday. Woo!
wow,
They was in there
yeah,
print. They was in there making that money, right?
yeah,
That is great, man. Well, I'm gonna wrap this up, brother. This has been fantastic. And once again,
yeah,
guys, we are going to be here tomorrow at Perfect Note in Atlanta. Pull up. I'm gonna close that thing out. I'm in the city, y'all.
yes,
Come up for
yeah,
your boy. We gonna put it down, and it's gonna be great with the great Howie Bell,
oh
Cliff
yeah.
P. Jamario is hosting, and we gonna have a great time. But I can't thank you enough, brother, for joining me.
It
And
was
I
all
guess
good.
we can get up and pick up on Perfect Note because it's about that time to do the 9 o'clock show
Yeah.
over there. So, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, man. This has been another episode of the LeVar Walker Show podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Kerry Frazier. But this is it, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
I'm out of here, man. Good night and God bless, guys. We gone.
All right.
That's it, bro. I